All right, cool. So next up, we're gonna do Thorgrim, right? So Thorgrim is the second, or another melee tank, I guess one of two, him and Black Knight. Let's go to abilities. He is also a 1-star difficulty, so it looks like he's pretty easy to play, but why don't you go and give us a quick rundown of what exactly he does with his skills.
So again, primary attack, it's he swings his hammer overhead, and it's slow startup, but it's still pretty wide range of attack.
Okay.
It's not bad, pretty decent. His armor up, which is his secondary ability, grants temporary invincibility while knocking back any opponent who attacks.
Really?
It's literally a bunch of shields flying around him, and it's it keeps him invincible for a while. A very good amount of time. Enough for him to escape or to charge in and do his damage or do his disruptive moves, which we'll get into. The Rib Splitter, spinning attack which knocks back opponents and projectiles. It sends them back a pretty significant distance. I wouldn't say like a home run hit, but it's at least, you know,
a good knock, okay.
Yeah. Ram's Head, which is his signature move. Quick lunging attack where Thorgrim flips an opponent up and over his head, launches the opponent backwards, not forwards. Something to keep in mind. Backwards a significant amount as well.
So we can
pretty high up too.
So we can like pick off people and throw them into his team and then armor up and just run through the rest of them. And, okay, interesting.
When he knocks the opponent up as well, they are immobile. They are not allowed to use any of their skills until they hit the ground. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not like you can knock them up and they can jump and shoot or whatever. No. You knock them back and they're just in an animation the entire time.
Got it, okay.
So that's something to keep in mind. And one of, in my opinion, one of the best ultimates in the game, Ragnarok. It's a powerful AoE attack which deals damage and launches any opponents within the range. Again, pretty significant range, and it's great for disrupting team fights. If an ultimate is popped off during a skirmish, you can just use your ultimate to counter them, and it knocks them back, canceling all animations that are occurring.
That's good.
It's very good.
It's very disruptive.
That's what he's meant for.
And then he has his 2 destructibles, one of which is a demolition hammer, which looks just like a guillotine. Right?
Except with a giant hammer on it.
Right.
And a bunch of spikes. So what happens is that boy sets up a demolition hammer, creates a shockwave afterwards, a couple seconds, it charges up and hammers down. Very decent range on it. We'll showcase it in a little bit. It's a very strong buildable in terms of the health. It takes a while for it to get taken down without equipment. The AoE itself knocks back the opponent and cancels their animation as well. It still sends them into knockback animation, something to keep in mind. And then his second buildable is the wall. Very straightforward. It's a giant wall. And it's
you can use that to kind of like force the opponent to like go either left or right side of your base. So you can like stack all your destructibles and put a wall over here. And now they're like kind of conflicting. They kind of have to figure out what to do there.
Yeah. Okay. And something to keep in mind is that buildables do persist round after round, if not destroyed. So you refresh your buildables after each round as well. So if your first wall is up, and by the second time or the second game comes around, you can build up another wall and put a demolition hammer in the middle, so that they're forced to run into the demolition hammer. So they have to time their movement.
Interesting.
So something to keep in mind. We'll put that up in just a little bit. We'll show you.
All right, and then we also have got some perks here. So this first one, which is Ragnarok at the house.
Nice.
15 bonus armor for each opponent hit by Ragnarok. So that just kind of makes Thorgrim here even tankier than he already is.
Yeah.
So he basically runs into a team fight, ults, disrupts the entire fight, and now has an additional 30 or 45 armor.
Yep, pretty straightforward. Using that to disrupt the team and be the biggest wall against like all enemy skills would be crazy beneficial for any team comp. Just having that kind of armor, having that kind of wall. By base stats, he has like the second most armor in the game, right under Black Knight. The Black Knight, and then he also has a decent amount of health.
Okay.
Too. So just adding that on there with Ragnarok the House is pretty difficult to handle.
And then his next one, level 3-1, is Thorgrim, which refreshes the cooldown for Ram's Head after using it to throw an opponent off of a level. So this seems really cool, but it's probably more of a gimmick than actually being worth choosing over the other ones.
100%. You said it the best. It's definitely a gimmick perk.
Yeah.
It's very conditional kind of perk, where if you just launch him off the platform, I mean, it does launch him a significant distance, right? But you got to set it up properly with the right team comp, with the right teammates, with good communication. So that may not always be the case, as we all love playing pubs.
I know.
So Who knows? It might. Some pro might find out a good way for it, a good way to use it.
Level 4 one, we got Second Wind here, which is basically regain 35 health per second for 5 seconds after getting a kill or an assist.
Pretty straightforward, actually. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty strong. So, especially with as tanky as he is and as long as he probably lives, that extra regen that he'd be using is just like consistent, letting him stay in the fight, basically, right? Especially if you don't have like a Alola on your team. If you do, then maybe you don't really want to. You can use one of the other perks instead. But if you don't have one, then why not throw this on there? That way you can kind of stay in the field more.
Yeah, just having that kind of persistence in the fray with Thorgrim, with like the base stats he has, high armor, high health. It's going to be a problem for anybody going up against him. I honestly think Thorgrim, like any good Thorgrim, is one of the main priorities for team fights. Either you're going to disengage because he's around, find a way around him, or you're going to isolate him after like killing everybody else. Because it's going to be too hard to get him right out the gate.
And then the last one is Spinning and Winning, classic. Reduce the cooldown for all other abilities by 1.5 seconds for each opponent hit by Rib Splitter.
That's pretty good, as a Rib Splitter has a pretty
large
good
range.
amount, good radius around it.
Okay.
Being able to hit and knock back opponents. That's one of the main things he's going to be using to disrupt majority of the team's advances, or the opposition's advances, right? So being able to use that and reducing the cooldown of all the other skills is a pretty big deal. As well as, teaming up with Ragnarok, Ram's Head, and then going for the Rib Splitter, reducing all the cooldowns pretty quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he has a couple pretty good different traits that he could utilize there. Kind of depends on like your team comp, it seems like.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's get into some tests.
Let's do it. Not a lot of savvy tech with him, very straightforward, as the rest of the warriors, which is good, right? You don't want anything too convoluted with any of the warriors, but at the same time, they're all viable. So let's take a look at this wall first. It's one of the main things about Thorgrim is that he could put these walls up. It'd be a huge nuisance. But they made it so that you can't stack walls too close to each other.
So I can't have stacks on stacks on stacks.
No, that'd be broken.
Of walls.
That'd be broken. We don't want that. Yeah, so you can't even put it on top of each other. Just a little thing to take note of.
All right.
You'd have to be a significant amount.
Oh, that is a far distance, yeah.
But you also have this thing. You used to be able to put this here.
But they changed that too. Now it has a radius on it.
Yeah, so this is a significant distance. You see that?
But even still, like they can't run around that because they're gonna get hit by it anyway.
Exactly.
If they try to go through that little thing, they're gonna get hit by the guillotine.
Just something to keep in mind. Some of the equipment you want to carry on him. Actually, let's go and talk about that real quick.
Is it kind of the same as Black Knight, where you want to do or start with like health, or no, yeah, health, and then armor.
With him, I would go with health.
Okay.
Because he has more health than armor.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, it's the opposite for Black Knight. You want more armor than health.
Got it. Okay.
So we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna.
Okay, and then
movement speed on him, just because.
Sure.
And then CDR, pretty good. Can't go wrong with some CDR. Cooldown reduction. No, we're gonna slide down here, and then we're gonna spin it to win a little bit. So you saw that.
Oh wow, that is actually that's pretty decent.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a pretty significant tool when trying to disengage. So we're gonna take a look at this first. Look at the radius here.
The beauty of
Yeah.
Wow, that is really far. That is a huge radius on that attack.
Alona's starting position was right here, so that's a significant distance away.
Yeah, and she got knocked back so far.
So
Interesting.
far.
Okay, cool.
And then back with his Q, knocks him pretty far out.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. If you hit someone when you fight on an edge, they're just gonna fly right off.
Yeah. You manage to get somebody, like isolate somebody, or they're trying to run away, or they're getting kind of cutesy. Not in my house. Peace
Later, bro.
Later. And that's like one of the most unique things about this game, or just this character in general. I really like his design. That is one of my favorite moves of the game.
Can you throw someone from there, you think?
It's pretty far, but he'll end up like right here.
Yeah, on top of there, right on top of there.
Oh
my gosh!
That's a lot further than the initial build, so that's cool. That's a lot.
Oh man, so that guy got wrecked.
Let's just take a real look at how far they go. So she was right here. That is far.
That is really far.
That is hella far.
That is a lot farther than I thought.
All right, let's see if it works with Rollins. Like this is for sure dead, right? It's for sure dead, right? Can we hope? All right, well,
It's
my
the
angles and
angle.
my
Yeah, it's the
geometry
angle.
sucks, clearly. But either way, it's something to take
That's
note.
awesome. Great distance on that. And then his Q, how far does that knock you back again?
Also, his primary attack's knocked back. It's pretty far.
No, wait, did it really?
Yeah, so.
Oh, all right. That's a pretty good distance as well.
So he moves forward if you hold, or if you're near an opponent. If you're just stationary, it kind of like stays still. But if you're near an opponent, it kind of goes. A little
Oh, he'll
closer. It
jolt
tracks.
towards.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And then what about his ult?
His ulti, let's go over that. Actually, before that, let's talk about his secondary.
Oh, right.
It's that. It's pretty basic. It gets the job done.
That's like what, 2 seconds? 2-3 seconds?
Yeah. Let's see. So.
Yeah, seems
good amount of
about
time.
like 2.5, 3 seconds.
So if I were to group people up, I would show you the ulti, but I'm just gonna isolate and Bonnie. Yeah, and that.
Whoa, later.
That launches them
That's good.
pretty far distance.
And that disrupts everything that's going on right there.
Yeah, it cancels out animations. It just sends them flying for a significant amount of time. It's one of the best ultis in the game. All right, so we're gonna take a look at that. How far it actually launches people, or the radius. Yeah, I did it max distance. You see that the cracks? That's exactly where the radius is.
Okay.
And then that significant amount of damage and knockback is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. So
He seems like he has a really strong kit.
he does, especially for his archetype, right? Being the tanky melee fighter, it's exactly what he needs. Like he may not have like combo ability, but he's got the knockbacks for days. And then you mess with him on the wrong day, he'll just wrap you up. You know, he'll just. I could try it, but Spartacus is near the wall. It's kind of tough. But we're gonna pick on Rollins.
Let's do it.
We're just gonna send him flying.
Later, bro.
Yeah. So again, another part of this
awesome.
kit is just having Q around after Ragnarok.
Can you like right click and then pick up the relic?
You absolutely can, or you should be able to, but I guess not. They changed that up.
Okay, then they changed that too.
Yeah, that used to be a thing.
That'd be good, huh?
During the Switch era. That's kind of broken.
You could use it and just run into their base. Like,
Exactly.
okay. All right, cool. So that's kind of his main kit there?
That's absolutely it for Thorgrim. Nothing too flashy, but again, one of the better character choices, in my opinion, for team comps. If you're not too confident in your team, it's best to go with Thorgrim.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Black Knight's more of like a team.
Yeah, and you gotta be a little bit more coordinated.
Sounds good, man.
I gotta go to Laguna to pick up my shoes. At least a little bit more.